This is your last chance to comply. Turn the engine off and slowly exit the vehicle.
I don't normally get that interested or excited in LED lights. There are tons of them on the market. But this very versatile LED light from Boling may just be the best thing I've ever used in my entire life. The opening was shot using this light, and I'll show the full scene at the end of this video. And just a quick warning, this video does contain flashing lights, so if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, you may want to skip this one. So this is a very versatile, compact, bicolor, and RGB light, and it has 3 different modes. The first one would be just using it as a traditional light. The next one would be a mode where you can go in and adjust the different colors. And the third one is an effects mode, lighting effects. We'll talk about each of these in more detail in a moment. You can control the brightness level of each of the various modes. And one thing that's great is you can go from 100% all the way down to 0. A lot of LEDs don't go all the way down to 0. They'll go down to like 5 or 10%. When I first got this and I saw the mounting arm, I thought, what in the world is this? This is a really strange design. But after I started messing with it, I figured out this is really a great design. You can configure the mount in pretty much any way you want. And it comes with a cold shoe mount. That way you can attach it to, say, a B-script like this if you're using a smartphone. And then another clever thing is, depending on how you mount it, you can spin the light. This is pretty ingenious and makes it a really, really versatile mount. So depending on what you're shooting, you can configure the mount really any way you want. And then of course it would also work on any traditional camera with a cold shoe mount. I just really like the way you can spin the light. There's so many different ways you could use this. And beyond the camera mount, you could put this on a light stand. Anything with a 1/4-20 mount. And then again here, you can position the light whichever way you want. And I thought this configuration was pretty cool. You could aim the light down. That way it can be an overhead light for a tabletop shot, or even a backlight or a hair light for someone when you're doing an interview. Lots of really great ways to use this. So speaking of using this, you might be wondering how bright it is. Well, as these kind of LED lights go, it's pretty bright. The spec sheet says 1480 lux at 0.5 meters. What that means in practical terms is it's not going to be used as a key light necessarily, although you could in a small setting. It's really designed more as a fill light, or, as I showed earlier, a camera light if you were doing interviews in a news style scenario or event type work. But it's definitely plenty bright for this kind of a light. The color appears to be really accurate. The CRI is rated at 96, and it'll go from a color temperature of 2500 to 8500. One nice thing is you can scroll with the dial, or you can hold it down. Either way, the transition between the different colors is very smooth. It doesn't step through them. And again, it looks accurate. I had my camera set to 5600 daylight here, and now that's what the light is set to. It also comes with a case. It's very solid, feels like a premium product. Has these loops where you can mount it on your belt. Might be a good look when you're going out to a club. The light is about the size of a smartphone, and it fits in the case nice and snug. One thing too, if you have the cold shoe adapter on it, it'll fit in the case as well with that on. So yeah, it's a simple but high quality case, and I think it's pretty cool that it comes with the light. And as a filmmaker, these lighting effects are what really interest me. This could be used for a candlelight look or campfire, depending on the shot. And I mentioned this is an RGB light, so there's an effect here. You can have multicolored lights cycling, almost like you're in a nightclub. And by the way, note that reference bar there on the back of the light. That tells you what color lines up with the number that you can dial in. And that's what I'm doing here. And now this is sped up to demonstrate it, but you can go through the different colors and pick whatever you want. And so during a production, you would find the color you want and then stay on that. So it could be a steady color, almost like using a party gel, putting a splash of blue or green on a back wall. But you really have an infinite number of color choices using this. And the other cool thing is, once you pick a color, you can actually dial in the amount of saturation. So not only do you have a lot of color choices, you have a lot of control over the way that color looks. And last but not least, probably my favorite effect they offer, emergency vehicles. And this ties back into the scene from the opening of the video. This is a police light effect, but you've also got ambulance and fire truck. And again, as a filmmaker, I really like this because I've gone out and rented different actual lights to simulate this. Anything that can lower the cost and make things easier but still have the good quality, I'm all in.
This is your last chance to comply. Turn the engine off and slowly exit the vehicle. No one needs to get hurt here. Your mom says no more car racing video games.
Okay, so all the shots of this car were done with the Boling LED light. And this particular shot was shot on an iPhone XS Max. The close-up shots I used the Sony a6400. And then the other shots in the scene were all stock footage. But I was really happy with the way these police lights looked, and it just adds instant production value to your scene. I found this light to be really good across the board, whether you're using it as a traditional light on your camera, or you want to put it on a light stand, use it as a kicker light or a fill light or a backlight, or if you're a filmmaker and you want to use the effects, great production value in a light that you can put in your backpack. This thing just really covers all the bases, and I have to say I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked this video. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.